Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. When Liangshu saw Wuya, he felt extremely nervous. After all, this was one of the most legendary personas of the Evil Sky Pavilion. The mere thought of being able to greet him at such close range was something wonderful and exciting. However, what did Wuya mean by a master? He was baffled. He turned to look at the old man standing next to him. The four great protectors clashed violently with their opponents. Energy seals sailed in the sky. The sounds of the battle made it difficult for one to remain calm. Zhou lowered his gaze and looked at the scene in front of him. He asked, "Is this your choice?" Wuya pushed and nudged Princess Yuan'er toward little Yuan. Little junior sister. Little Yuan supported Yuan'er and went to stand at the side. Wuya was bare-chested. He wiped the blood off the edge of his lips. He kowtowed at Zhou respectfully. "Master, please help me." Liangshu. He stumbled backward, his eyes wide. He stumbled back again, putting some distance between him and the others. He looked at Zhou again. Yes, that bearing, that air. The old man whom Liangshu worshipped and respected was right there before his eyes. This was the Evil Sky Pavilion's Patriarch, the first name on the blacklist. The master of the 9 disciples. Ji Tiandao. Thud. Liangshu fell limply on his buttocks. Little Yuan turned to look at him. She asked, "What are you doing?" "No, nothing." "It's nothing." Liangshu wanted to cry. He suddenly remembered little Yuan had ordered him to kneel before her master in Villa back. Who knew she was not lying? Meanwhile, Zhou was not concerned about Liangshu's feelings. Moreover, even if Liangshu knew from the beginning, it would not change the outcome. He said to Wuya, "What does this have to do with me?" Zhou's expression remained apathetic as always. "You're the ones who brought this upon yourselves. Now that you're in this state, you expect me to clean up after you?" Boom. 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 The Nether Sect's huge chariot crashed to the ground under the attacks of the Wolf King avatar. It destroyed numerous buildings in the process. One leaf detached from the Wolf King avatar. However, it still possessed the might of a 7-leaf avatar. The 4 great protectors had retreated since they were injured. Moreover, the casualties on the Nether Sect side was not trivial. Lu Bing did not move. His 6 generals hovered in the air and did not continue to attack. The changes on the battlefield were as such. They could never let down their guard against any enemy, even more so when they were facing the other tribesmen. However, Luo would not let such a rare opportunity slip past his fingers. "Your Fourth Highness, what are you standing there for? Can you really rest in peace when the Nether Sect's 4 great protectors remain?" Lu Bing's brows were knitted together. He looked at Luo, who seemed to be beside himself with joy. He could foresee that Luo would bare his fangs at him after the Nether Sect was dealt with. However, he had no choice but to order for his men to continue their assault on the 4 great protectors. "Li Jingyi, your Wei Zhuoyan's subordinate. General Xiang is injured. Shouldn't you stop them?" Li Jingyi, who was hovering in the air with the paper umbrella, seemed stunned. From the beginning up until now, she had yet to make a single move. She had been hiding in the corner where the others would not notice. However, she was still found by Lu Bing. 3 avatars flew towards Wuya. Meanwhile, several palm seals rained down on them as wide-area attacks. Several palm prints flew out horizontally. The buildings around them crumbled. The sun's rays fell on Wuya, Zhou, little Yuan, and Liangshu. At this moment, many pairs of eyes were looking at them. Lu Bing turned to look. Li Jingyi turned to look. The 4 great protectors were stunned. Why did that old man look familiar?
Ha!
Luo and Zhenghai, who was struggling to get up from the rubble, were looking as well. Who's that? Lu Bing felt his breath quickened. His heart felt as though it was going to jump out of his chest. Why is he here? Zhenghai had been living deep in the divine capital for a long time. He had never seen Ji Tiandao before. He merely regarded the old man before Si Wuya with a puzzled expression. Who is this old man? Why is Si Wuya kneeling before him? Li Jingyi appeared unperturbed. She seemed to have expected this all along. Regardless, just kill them all.
Ha!
Luo waved his hand. The people of Lulan and Roli below him charged toward Si Wuya in a frenzy like a pack of wild wolves. Lu Zhou glanced at them. It was rather impossible for him to extricate and dissociate himself from this situation at this moment. Si Wuya said again, if you're willing to make a move, master, I will return to the evil sky pavilion and accept any kind of punishment you mete out. Bam. Si Wuya's forehead touched the ground. Lu Zhou stroked his beard and looked at Si Wuya as he said, I hope that you won't disappoint me. He flipped his hand. The peacock plume materialized in his hand. The faint starlight gave the peacock plume a dazzling radiance. Go. Lu Zhou tossed the peacock plume out, and it flew towards Si Wuya. Si Wuya was overjoyed. He pushed away from the ground and grabbed the peacock plume before he flew into the air. What's that in his hand?
Ha!
Luo was puzzled. All he saw was Si Wuya tossing the peacock plume in his hand into the air. The peacock plume spun swiftly and buzzed. Then, it split into two, forming the shape of a fan. Golden glittering energy wrapped around the peacock plume. Fa. The two sections of the peacock plume attached themselves to Si Wuya's back. Lu Zhou looked up slightly. He nodded. The peacock spreads its plume. This is bad. Get back.
Ha!
Luo cried out immediately. They felt that the primal chi in their surroundings were being sucked away by the peacock plume. The primal chi was absorbed by the peacock plume and formed the wings of the peacock. This was the peacock plume's characteristic. It was as beautiful as a peacock with its plume spread out, brilliant and dazzling. Yet, while one was captivated by this shocking display, it had already claimed one's life. Si Wuya advanced in the air. He remained expressionless as he flapped his huge wings. With every beat of his wings, countless energy needles shot out. Bam. 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 The people from Roli and Lulan were startled by Si Wuya's sudden move. When they wanted to turn around and run away, it was already too late. The energy needles that dotted the skies shot toward them like a tempest. The attack rained down on them with the force of a tidal wave and pierced their chests. The people of Roli fell to the ground. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 10 merit points. Lu Zhou was not surprised to hear the notifications. Although it was a meager number, it was better than nothing. The people of Lulan were witchcraft cultivators to begin with. They had weak defenses. At this moment, the needles that stuck out from their bodies made them look like porcupines. Mr. Seventh? Hua Chongyang was invigorated. The peacock spread plume. It's been a long time since I last saw it. Bai Yuqing wiped away the blood from the edge of his lips as he exclaimed excitedly. I remember the last time this was used was during the battle on Pingdu Mountain. Mr. Seventh and the sect master joined hands to lay down the foundations for the Nether Sect. I didn't expect to see this again after all these years. The other three great protectors gazed at the horizons. Si Wuya's huge wings were dazzling. He swept through the other tribesmen and Lu Bing's troops mercilessly. Retreat. Fall back. Lu Bing barked hastily. He had no time to explain the situation to his subordinates. Even his 6 generals were flustered by this development. They kept falling backward.
Ha!
Luo seemed incredulous. His eyes widened. His rage and hatred were completely ignited. His eyes were bloodshot. You will die today.
Ha!
Luo howled at the skies. His Wolf King avatar stepped on his 7-leaf golden lotus and dove from a higher spot. Fa! He charged toward Si Wuya like a comet. Si Wuya pulled his wings toward himself. He shielded himself with his wings. Boom! Si Wuya reeled back. As he did so, he spread his wings and flapped. Boom! 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 Needles shot toward the Wolf King avatar.
Ha!
Luo moved at lightning speed as he charged toward his target with the avatar. A 6-leaf is a 6-leaf, after all.
Ha!
Luo plunged into his Wolf King avatar and became one with it. The avatar seemed to be covered in a translucent, shining golden network of veins. Bam! Bam! Bam!
Ha!
Luo repelled the energy needles. The 6 generals flew up to the war chariot. Your Highness, this is a great chance to take down the Nether Sect and the other tribes in one go. The Grand General said with a bow. Smack! Lu Bing slapped him. The Grand General was puzzled and flustered by this gesture. Lu Bing gulped before he said, look for an opening, and run. Run? Why would they run when they had the upper hand? The other generals were taken aback. No matter from which angle one looked at it, they were clearly going to benefit from this situation. Meanwhile,
Ha!
Luo dove toward Si Wuya with his Wolf King avatar again. Si Wuya frowned. He pulled his wings together and retreated swiftly. Mr. 7th. Hua Chongyang, Bai Yuqing, Yang Yan, and Di Qing exclaimed in shock. Whoosh! On the flattened patch of rubble, a faint purple energy arrow shot out. The energy arrow was as thick as a tree trunk. The supersized energy arrow that looked like a heavenly pillar sailed through the air. Its size made a hard-to-miss sight. Everyone's attention was attracted by this. The meteor-like energy arrow sailed from the right to the left before it hit the Wolf King's forehead. Bam! The arrow landed true. The Wolf King avatar shattered immediately.
Ha!
Luo, who was hovering in the air, immediately doubled over. He clutched his chest as he looked past Si Wuya incredulously. He saw an old man who was standing level with the buildings. Lu Zhou stroked his beard as he recalled the bow. The bow spun in the air and reverted to unnamed. Then, it shot into his sleeve and disappeared. It seemed like the terrifying arrow had been shot by the old man. As
Ha!
Luo looked at the old man, blood trickled out from the edges of his lips, eyes, nostrils, and ears. Drip. His blood fell to the ground. The sunlight shone on the droplets. The blood of an other tribesman. Splat. It fell to the ground. I will never allow my disciple to be bullied by the likes of you. It was him. He was not mistaken. Lu Bing found it difficult to breathe at this moment. It was as though something was lodged in his windpipe, and he could not get it out no matter how he tried. He gulped repeatedly. So what if he was a prince? If he had lightning speed, he would escape without any hesitation. However, after witnessing that arrow shot, he pushed that thought out of his mind. Was he so naive to think that he would be able to escape? The skies were clear, and there was a warm, gentle breeze.
Ha!
Luo, with one hand on his chest, could no longer maintain flight and dropped to the ground with a loud boom. Ding! Killed a target. Reward, 1,500 merit points. Lu Zhou stepped into the air as though he was on land and flew higher into the sky. He was Ji Tiandao, the great villain who defeated countless enemies in the past. Shen Liangshu was kneeling on the ground as he watched Lu Zhou excitedly. Lu Zhou was his idol. Who cared about being the first on the whitelist, Xiang Lai, the prince, or the others? All of them dimmed in comparison to Lu Zhou. Hua Chongyang, Bai Yuqing, Yang Yan, and Di Qing felt as though they were boosted with energy at this moment. They could barely contain their excitement as they faced their sect master's master. They bowed in unison. Greetings, old senior. Li Jingyi retracted her paper umbrella. She carried it in her arms as she bowed. Greetings, old senior. The Azure Dragon Hall's second seat, Yu Hong, looked at the sky with a pained expression. He felt awkward. Similar to Shen Liangshou, he did not know how to put his feelings into words when he recalled his past actions. He supported himself and rose to his feet. The remaining 700 to 800 Nether Sect disciples were filled with emotions as they bowed and said in unison, "Greetings, old senior." Their voices were loud and friendly, filled with reverence. This old man was their sect master's master, after all. They could be regarded as the disciples of his disciple. See Wuya spread his wings. He looked at
Ha!
Luo's corpse with a stunned expression. After confirming that
Ha!
Luo was truly dead, he was even more shocked. Since when was his master skilled in archery? Lu Zhou hovered in the air and surveyed his surroundings. His gaze finally fell on the other tribesmen who were currently trembling in fear. He said curtly, "Kill them." Si Wuya bowed and said, "Understood." This time, nobody dared to see Wuya. With such a powerful existence supporting him, who would dare to oppose him? The remaining hundreds of men from Roli and the witchcraft cultivators wanted to escape through the air. However, even their chief,
Ha!
Luo, was killed by a single arrow. They no longer had the courage to escape. Under Lu Zhou's protection, Si Wuya dove as his peacock plumes spread. A pair of huge and shining golden eyes swept past the bodies and chests of the people of Roli. Although the people of Roli were known for defensive skills, they were instantly cut into halves by the heaven-grade weapon. The Nether Sect disciples were filled with satisfaction as they watched this. Earlier, they had been overwhelmed by the group of witchcraft cultivators and men from Roli. How could they not feel angry and annoyed? The witchcraft cultivators had no way of escaping from Si Wuya's onslaught of attacks. They were killed one after another. There were fewer and fewer other tribesmen in the area. They were now like a platter of loose sand. They had no means of resisting such an expert. Even if there was a six-leaf elite among them, they would probably still find it difficult to stand up to Si Wuya, who was in a frenzy. Si Wuya, he activated his avatar. The six-leaf golden lotus swept through the crowds with huge golden wings. The 2 rows of buildings along Liang Province City were sliced into halves. Boom. 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 Lu Zhou kept an eye on his merit points on the system dashboard before he finally closed it. Although each target was only worth 10 points, he earned quite a lot of points since there were so many other tribesmen. Then, he slowly turned around and looked at Lu Bing. Lu Bing. Huh? You colluded with the other tribesmen. Aren't you worried that Emperor Yongqing will have your head for this? Lu Zhou asked. Well. Lu Bing found it difficult to string words together. He was so anxious he felt like crying. At this moment, 4 of the 6 generals who stood in front turned to face Lu Zhou at the same time. Old senior, we would like to beg for forgiveness on His Highness' behalf. The 4 of them respectfully stepped forward. Lu Zhou's eyes shifted to the 4 generals. Beg for forgiveness? Old senior. His Highness had been at the borders for many years. Even if he had no contributions, his efforts must have meant something, a general who stood on the left said. His Highness has always worked diligently. The citizens are filled without nothing but praise for His Highness. His Highness carries the will of the Emperor. There are many things that are beyond his control. The 4 of them stepped forward again. Lu Bing frowned. What are they doing? Generals? The general on the far left did not turn around. With a low voice, he said, Your Highness, please forgive us for our insubordination. The 4 of them bowed at Lu Zhou. As soon as they bowed, they quickly leaped toward Lu Zhou. In the name of the Emperor. Whiz. 4 avatars appeared, and energies began to collide. The buzz of the resonance was extremely deafening. Master. Old senior. The others exclaimed in shock. The shining golden avatars were formed from semi-transparent energies. The 4 avatars gathered, putting their lives on the line together. With barely a moment to spare, Zhou shattered an impeccable card. A shining golden Buddha body appeared, shielding him. Boom. 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 Four deafening explosions rang in the air, as the four avatars collided with the golden Buddha body before shattering. The generals were sent flying back, spitting out a mouthful of blood. When Lu Bing regained his senses, he shouted, "Are you out of your minds? What do you think you're doing?" The two remaining generals stopped Lu Bing. "They're men of His Majesty to begin with. Please stay your anger, Your Highness." These words immediately brought Lu Bing back to his senses. The four generals were the men of the emperor, to begin with. He only trusted these two generals by his side. All the others whom he trusted had long died on the battlefield at the border in the distant west. These four men were merely obeying his father, the emperor. That aside, the thing that shocked him most was how Zhou remained unharmed even with the four generals' surprise attack. Zhou was truly too powerful. These four had disregarded their lives to attack Zhou. Their attacks might be even stronger than the joint attacks from Hua Chongyang, Bai Yuqing, Yang Yan, and Di Qing. Even then, they could not do anything to the 100-foot golden Buddha body. It was 2F** King Tough. 10 seconds passed by in a blink of an eye. Zhou frowned slightly. There was a trace of indignance in his expression. If he was honest, he did not know how he should go about killing these people. His only option was to use a peak trial card, however, it would be a waste to use it in this situation. Using deadly strike cards was a waste as well. If he left it up to Hua Chongyang and the others, he would not be rewarded with merit points. This was a difficult situation for him. Everyone had no idea that the greatest villain of all time was currently thinking of the best way to earn merit points instead of defending against the attacks. Rumble. Among the rubble, a figure suddenly pushed the debris away and looked up. Zhenghai stomped his feet on the ground. A tremor rippled out to about 100 meters away. Like a cannonball, he attacked from below. He joined his palms and raised his hands. His left index finger and right index finger were pointed up. There was a talisman held between his two fingers with the words "Abandon Wisdom" on it. Abandon wisdom meant one should empty one's mind of all ideas, distracting thoughts, flashy elements, and strike with all of one's strength. Zhenghai's eyes gleamed. A trail of blood could be seen at the side of his lips. Zhou looked down. He flipped his palm and pushed downward. A blue lotus appeared under his feet as a blue light shone from between his fingers. Originating from nothing and everything at the same time. Living in samsara and learning from it. Abandon wisdom. A huge palm seal shot down, the words "Abandon wisdom" shone. Impossible. Zhenghai was almost upon Zhou when his fingers were pressed down by the huge "Abandon wisdom" palm seal. He was defenseless as tofu. Boom. The Celestial Master Sect's Abandon Wisdom palm seal struck the ground with a loud boom. The deep pit in the shape of a palm shocked the others.